pass this out to everyone. There's a pre-test and a post-test here. And there's also an activity sheet on the top. Disregard the activity sheet right now and just go straight to the pre-test and fill out the pre-test right now. And do this a minute to look at those questions. Answer as many of them as you can. Yeah, that's okay. If you don't know the answers, don't worry about it. We'll just get on with it. So. Okay, so back up here. Last class we were starting photosynthesis, and we went through the light reaction. So today is the dark reaction. So these are our objectives right up here. So we want to be able to identify the inputs and outputs of the light independent reaction, and give some examples of the way the plant uses this energy that it's derived from it, and then we want to find out when this actually occurs. Okay, so let's do a little bit of review. This is the light reaction. This is what we talked about yesterday. So who knows what are the products of the light reaction? So what do we get from it? Does anyone remember?
ATP.
ATP, so high energy molecules.
NADH,
yeah. So those are our two high energy molecules. So that's number 3A and 3B there. What else do we get from
Oxygen.
Oxygen's one of them. And
water.
we use up water.
Proton mode.
Oops. So our last product here is
Proton. Oops. Oh, that's
so we use up water and we get protons,
free
high energy
electron.
molecules, and wait a second, that's it. I misnumbered it. Okay. So this is the light independent reaction. So we can see on here where our products are. Here's ADP and NADPH. So those are important. And so do we remember what the purpose of photosynthesis is? Why plants even photosynthesize? To get energy? Okay, and how is that energy stored?
Sure.
In the glucose molecules. Okay. So in order for plants to do this, we have to be able to make sugars. So sugars have 6 carbon atoms, and to assemble those, what plants do is they take 2 3 carbon molecules and stick them together to make a 6 carbon molecule. But in order to get these 3 carbon sugars, or 3 carbon molecules, plants have to do something kind of tricky. They have to take this other 5 carbon one and add carbon dioxide in it so it can then be split. So you can get these 2 3 carbon sugars. And adding carbon dioxide to this 5 carbon molecule is something pretty special that only producers are able to do, things that photosynthesize. And that's called carbon fixation. So this right here, this rubisco, is an enzyme. Does anyone remember what an enzyme is?
Speeds up reactions.
Yeah, it speeds up reactions. So specifically, it speeds up biological reactions. So Rubisco, it's hypothesized that this might be the most abundant enzyme on the face of the earth. Because so many things photosynthesize, and it's essential to every part of the food chain. Okay. So here's one here. Okay. So once Rubisco has added a carbon dioxide to that 5-carbon sugar, it's split using and it uses an ATP to add a phosphate to one of the 3-carbon sugars. So we have two 3-carbon sugars that have a lot of energy in them, but they're not really in a form that plants can use or that anything else can use. So it has to. So these 2 3-carbon sugars are linked together and make a 6-carbon sugar, which is glucose, which we're all familiar with. Okay, so the light reaction, as we talked about before, has to occur in the light. So when does this reaction occur? This reaction of carbon fixation? In the dark?
Constantly. All
So it occurs in the dark, and you're saying it occurs constantly all the time. Why would you say that it occurs all the time?
because plants are growing all the time, so they always need sugar.
So plants are always growing, so they always need sugar. Okay. So to answer this, sometimes it's called the dark reaction, but more appropriately it's called the light independent reaction. And that's because it does not require light. So it doesn't have to be during the daytime, but it also doesn't have to be in the nighttime either. These, the products from the light reaction are there. They were created in the light. So often, it occurs more often in the daylight hours, but certain types of plants also do this at nighttime when there is no light. So it's not really that it has to be during the dark, it just doesn't have to be during the day. Okay, so the G3P, it's not important that we know this terminology right now, but this G3P is that 3-carbon sugar. So when you hook 2 of those together, we get sugar. We get sugar. And everything on this planet needs sugar in one way or another. Plants use it. So how do plants use sugars?
Cellular respiration.
They use it to build cellular structures. Okay, what else do plants do with sugars?
Glycolysis.
Glycolysis?
Respiration.
I'm trying to remember about glycolysis. I think that might be or something for an animal, but yeah, so respiration. So there's all sorts of different cellular activities. Plants have metabolisms just like animals do. There's things that their cells need to do in order to stay alive. They store a lot of it as sugars, or as starches. So they'll hook a lot of sugars together and make starches. And that way when, maybe it's winter time and a plant needs food, it's able to use those starches. And another thing that plants do with them is they're able to hook together strings of glucoses and make something called cellulose, which is a fiber that gives plants their structures. Okay, but if we go back to this right here, it kind of seems like we're just going in a circle. We're making 3-carbon sugars, which then goes to a 5-carbon, here and around, and we're never actually getting any sugar out of it. So how do we actually get some sugar? So the answer is that this cycle has to happen 5 times. And for every 5 times the cycle happens, you get 10 of these 3-carbon sugars, and most of those will go to remake the 5-carbon sugar that goes through the cycle. but you'll have 2 extra 3-carbon sugars, and those are hooked together to make your glucose. So plants actually have to do this cycle 5 times before it even gets 1 sugar molecule. So now we're going to look at our activity sheet there. So you guys all have a sheet. Let me see what it looks like.
Sheet.
Chew.
Yeah, it's. Oh no.
No.
No, I had an activity sheet too. We didn't do it. Okay, that's okay. We can just go through it like this. So what I'm passing out to people. We're going to have 10 of these exactly. So some people are going to have to share. But there's a reason why there's exactly 10 of them. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to model the light-independent reaction. So take all the paper clips off that little piece of paper and stick them down on the table in front of you. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create the starting materials of this reaction. So take 5 of those paper clips and hook them together end to end. So what you'll have is 5 paper clips and then 1 paper clip by itself. So now what we're going to do is you can see on the little sheet of paper that those paper clips came on. That's your rubisco enzyme. So with that rubisco enzyme, because I'm sure you're going to need it, you're going to be able to take your 1 paper clip and hook it onto the 5. But make sure you use your paper. Just kidding, you don't have to use the paper. That's just there to help you understand that it's rubisco that allows you to make a 6-carbon sugar, or to add that carbon dioxide and fix it on there. Okay. So now you have 6 carbons together. But it actually doesn't go straight to there. What it does is you get 2 3-carbon sugars. So disconnect those so you have 2 different chains of 3 paper clips. So now, if we want this cycle to continue, because if it doesn't continue, we're going to run out of reactants for this reaction. We have to regenerate the 5-carbon sugar, and we still want to get some sugar. Or the 5-carbon. We still want to get some glucose, that 6-carbon sugar. So with the people around you, you're going to need to find 5 or 4 other people that have paper clips. Take the 2 3-carbon chains that you have, and what you're going to do is you're going to regenerate the 5-carbon paper clip, and you're going to make 1 6-carbon sugar. So where do we have? Where's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the people on this side of the room come together right here, and you guys all come together. So what you need to make, using all your paper clips, is 1 6-carbon sugar, and you need to regenerate that 5-carbon starter as many times as you can. So hook all your paper clips together, so you can get that. So what you're doing is this right here, except you're doing it twice. So 5 become Okay. So let's just do a quick review here. So what are different ways that plants use sugars? Who can give me an example of how plants use sugars?
To build structures.
To build structures, okay.
Cellulose, to build eggs.
So to make ATP, so you can use metabolism to build structures. And there was one other one that I think is pretty important, is starches. Okay. And when does the light-independent reaction occur?
All the time.
So it can. So what was that? Someone raise their hand and say it nice and loud so we can all hear.
All the time.
It can happen anytime, right? And it doesn't just happen during the nighttime when it starts. Okay, so at the end there's a post test that's just like a pre-test. So then you can answer the questions that are on your